Hello, and welcome to the ILTACON First Timers webinar, Tips for a Rewarding Conference Experience. We are lucky enough to have our esteemed co-chairs for ILTACON here today to speak to you, Scott David and Ronnie Mullins. With that, I'll turn it over to them.
Hello and welcome everyone to your first ILTACON. I'm Scott David, Director of Legal Project Management and Process Improvement at Forey, Sater, Seymour & Peace, and I'm one of your co-chairs for ILTACON.
And I'm Rodney Mullins, Senior Manager of Software Planning and Development at McGuire Woods, your other co-chair. We know we probably have a mixed audience today. Some of you may be new to the ILTA community. Others of you may have just been waiting for your turn to attend conference. Our agenda today is focused on the conference experience, so we've got you all covered. We'll start with some ILTACON basics, important information you need to know before August. Then we'll have some fun sharing tips for a great first conference. Without further ado, let's get started.
What is ILTACON? Let's take a look at the next slide to see. As you can see, ILTACON is the premier education and networking event for legal technology. The education content is put on by your peers in the legal community from a team of over 50 creative and innovative peers. It's 4 days, 200 education and networking sessions, and it's really, really big. We are expecting over 3,000 attendees this year from over 15 or more countries.
All right. Who attends ILTACON? Let's take a look at the next slide. The demographics of ILTACON attendance look like this. While most attendees are from law firms, we do have a growing number coming from corporate and government entities. Law firms of all sizes are represented, from the very small to the very large. Along with different types and sizes of entities, our attendees represent a wide range of job titles and responsibilities. The most prominent are C-level, directors, and managers, but many different levels of our member organizations are represented, from administrators, analysts, coordinators, engineers, architects, trainers, litigation support, just to name a few. And we even have a small contingent of attorneys attending ILTACON as well.
So where can I find details about ILTACON? You guessed it, ILTACON has its own website with everything you need to know about the conference. The ILTACON website and the conference app are the best resources for anything you need to know about ILTACON sessions, agendas, and more. In fact, there's an entire section on the ILTACON website under Choose, About, and then First Timers that is devoting to sharing information for first timers like you. Also, the mobile app will be ready to download in a few weeks prior to conference. It will have the latest information, so make sure you check it out. Also, when you get on site, feel free to approach anyone wearing an ILTA staff ribbon or behind one of the registration desks, one in the yacht and one in the Dolphin, or at the ILTA hub on the 5th floor of the Dolphin, and they will help you find what you're looking for. In fact, on Monday, the staff and volunteers will be wearing light blue Team ILTACON shirts, and any of them would be more than happy to help you with any questions that you have.
Now, why is it good to be a first timer in 2023? We've got a host of programs with you in mind, starting with our buddy system, advice from veterans, tips, and this webinar. Head to the First Timers page on the ILTACON site to keep up with the latest information presented with you in mind. We know it can be overwhelming to attend a huge conference for the first time, and we focus our efforts on providing you with the best experience. There's also a webinar at the end of July where ILTA's Vice President of Service Delivery, Dawn Hudgens, will deliver a detailed overview of the conference.
When you arrive on site, one of the first things you'll want to do when you're ready to start with the conference is find a registration desk and pick up your badge and your bag of goodies. Your badge should be treated like cash and worn at all times. It will get you into conference sessions, recreational and social events, and the exhibit hall. It also serves as your ticket for all included meals and receptions. As a reminder, if you have a week-long pass, it allows you access to the full conference. We also have a day pass that is for the day of the pass only. You may notice ILTACON attendees wearing a number of ribbons attached to their badge. These ribbons show that they're a speaker, a planning committee member, a board member, and yes, even you, a first timer. Wear your first time ribbon with pride and don't be shy. Look for other ribbons to know who you can ask questions of, and that also know that ILTACON veterans will be looking out for your ribbon too, so don't be surprised if they come up and ask you how your first conference is going.
Now let's talk about sessions. If you've never been to a conference like this, the first thing to know is that there are lots of sessions. You'll have on average 8 choices in each time slot per day. The agenda page on the ILTACON site offers an overview of the schedule. Sessions can also be found on the conference app once it's available, and a summary grid is available on the ILTACON website. The most up-to-date information will always be found on the conference app. Recordings. One thing you need to know is that almost all ILTACON sessions are recorded, and the slides, handouts, and recordings are available online and in the app after conference. The session description will note any exceptions of sessions that won't be recorded. So when faced with a choice, attend the session you'd rather experience live and make a note to catch up on the others later. Evaluations are also an important part of the ILTACON process. We strive to make every conference better than the last, and we take attendee feedback seriously. Please take a couple of minutes, and it doesn't even take that long on the app, to provide your comments after each session you attend. We have a buddy program for ILTACON where we pair first timers with veteran attendees. As a reminder, the deadline to sign up for this is fast approaching, which is July 15th. So please consider signing up today. You will meet with your buddy prior to and during conference. You can find more information at the www.iltacon.org website.
Now that we've covered the basics, we want to share a few tips. We'll go through these pretty quickly, but they can all be found on the first timers page on the ILTACON website that I had mentioned a little bit earlier. Let's start with a couple of important packing tips. First of all, bring business cards for exchanging with other attendees and other business partners throughout the week, and most importantly, for dropping in some of those vendor giveaways. As an alternate, you can have a card with a QR code, or even check out the LinkedIn app. There's a way to share and scan QR codes right within LinkedIn, which is a great way to make connections with people. Also, be sure to dress comfortably. Most people will be in business casual attire, but there's no specific dress code. Just remember the days can be long and the rooms can be chilly, even though it's really hot in Orlando in August. Also, please wear comfortable shoes. And this doesn't mean brand new shoes that you think will be comfortable, but actual comfortable tested shoes, because you will be walking a lot during the conference between our different locations. Also bring charging cables and chargers. You never know where you'll be low on juice and in desperate need of a little bit of a charge to get you through the day. And finally, be prepared for Orlando weather. Bring sunscreen, sunglasses, and even rain gear, because they can have pop-up storms at almost any time.
As we mentioned, most sessions are recorded. This can be helpful if you're trying to decide between competing sessions in the same time slot. If one is recorded and one isn't, you might consider going to the one that isn't recorded and catch the other when the recordings are posted to the ILTACON website, typically about a week after the conference ends. Review the schedule and the session grid well before arriving at conference and highlight sessions you're interested in attending. It's also a good idea to have a backup session just in case. Related to this, be sure to download the conference app to your mobile device and add the sessions you've highlighted to your agenda to help plan out your week. Don't be afraid to switch to a different session in progress. Occasionally, you may find yourself in a session that you thought would be good, but ends up not being quite what you expected. Feel free to leave the session if there's something else you'd like to do at the time, like the backup session you chose for that time slot. You won't hurt anyone's feelings by doing this. There's great networking all week, starting Sunday afternoon all the way through Thursday night. Don't be shy. ILTACON brings together introverts and extroverts alike. Just remember, we all have legal technology in common. When you arrive in a session room, make a point of connecting with the people you sit next to. At meals, you'll find table conversations are common, but at the very least, chat with the person next to you. Most people attend meals solo, so it's easy to meet new people. A related tip, if you're trying to meet someone at a meal, your best bet is to arrange to meet them outside the room, because once you go in, it will be like finding a needle in a haystack. While, excuse me, while most sessions are open with first come, first served seating, we do have 3 sessions this year that require pre-registration. Those sessions are Unmasking the Imposter Within. This is an ILTACON pre-workshop. It's on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. Building Team Effectiveness, Understanding DISC Behavioral Assessments at Work, Thursday from 1:30 to 3 p.m. And Building Team Effectiveness, Applying DISC Behavioral Assessments at Work, Thursday from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m.
So watch for emails about these sessions. They're going to be fantastic, and we anticipate they're going to be very popular, and that's why we had a registration requirement form. The sign-up forms for these sessions will be listed with this webinar's description on the ILTA website as well.
Now, as we mentioned, make sure that while you're on site that you network with individuals. It's probably one of the most important things that you can do while you're there. Next slide, please.
So a good opportunity for some of these networking events is the social events and dinners. And the first one starts out on Sunday afternoon, and we have what we call a block party, and it's a great opportunity to meet your peers with shared interests. Also, the ILTACON keynotes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning are also popular, but this year we've added something really special. We have a Legal Bites concert starting at 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning. This is a band comprised of ILTA members who have been getting together to create great music for 15 years, and they are really incredible. So don't be late to that Monday morning keynote. Social events at night, as we mentioned, are great for networking, food, and fun, and keep those in mind. Also at the lunches, there's going to be tabletop conversation starters at each table to help you get engaged and meet new people at lunch. So don't be afraid to attend by yourself at a lunch. The Sunday opening reception and the Monday exhibit hall tailgating party are great events for networking. They don't happen to be sit-down dinners, but don't worry. There's plenty of food and beverage and desserts set up in stations all over the event space, so you can find everything you want and more for dinner. There's also a set of affinity group receptions on Monday evening. They include but aren't limited to the Women Who Lead, international attendees, young professionals, a DEI group, a Black affinity group, and much, much more. So stay tuned for details about those. Also, on Tuesday and Wednesday night, there are no ILTA events. They are free for your attendees to do whatever you want those evenings. We do have every night we have the Zero Cocktail and Comedy Lounge from 5 to 6 p.m. But after that, you're on your own. be aware that there's a lot of business partners that have parties and special events on those days, and that's kind of the reason we leave them open. You'll likely see invites via email ahead of the conference. Sometimes at the business partner booths, they'll have information about events to sign up. So stay tuned for those and be on the lookout for those. You can also just take a break in the midweek and take some downtime, or check out the park that we're right around. Thursday night is our closing reception. We'll have food again, and you will also have a great opportunity for networking and camaraderie and catching up with people that you met throughout the week and sharing what you've learned. Finally, we have a limited number of golf carts to shuttle people between the properties, since we are using a campus model this year. So if you happen to see a golf cart, it's likely part of the conference and something that can help you get from here to there. And as we wrap up this webinar, we want to share some specific first-timer opportunities that you will want to consider.
Yes, join the ILTACON Connected community. Members and ILTA staff will be discussing all things ILTACON. The community can be found under Connected Communities at www.iltacon.org. We already mentioned the Buddy program, but it's worth reminding you to check it out. Don't forget that the deadline for applying is July 15th. Stop by the ILTA Hub in the exhibit hall starting Tuesday and learn about volunteer opportunities and stay up to date with our year-round education.
And one last thing, we'll see you all in Orlando.
Orlando.